Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Right, so we'll read the verses. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asamshayam Samagram Ma Yatha Gyasya Tachrunu Jnanam che teham savijnanam idam vakshami asheshata yagyatva neha bhuyonyas gyatavyam avashishyate manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhana kaschin mam vetti tattvataha bhumirapo nalo vayu Khammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtada apareyam itastvanya prakritim vidhi me para jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dhyate jagat etad yonini bhutani sarvaniti upadharaya aham kachnasya jagata prabhava pralayasthatha mattah parataram nanya kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashisuryayo pranavah sarva vedeshu shabda khe paurusham rishu punyo gandha prithiviyam cha tejas chashmi vibhavasu jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschashmi tapasvishu bijam mam sarva bhutana viddhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam ashmi tejas tejasvinamaham balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. So I'll request everyone to be really attentive in all these discussions because you're going to be able to know about Krishna very, very closely. We always talk about knowing Krishna, seeing Krishna, and Krishna is about telling you, how can you see me? How can you see me in this world? Right? This is the theme of this particular chapter. How to see Krishna in this world. You like to see Krishna? Yes. So the first verse is a verse which Srila Prabhupada has given maximum lectures on this particular shloka. So it's such a important shloka. The first verse, you'll have like 25-30 lectures Prabhupada has given in different occasions. Now one can understand that means this particular shloka is very important, or the import of this shloka is something very fundamental for our Krishna consciousness. That is why Prabhupada spent to lecture 25-30 times in so many different occasions. Right? So we'll try to understand the import of what Srila Prabhupada wants to say here. Right? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." So the emphasis Prabhupada makes in this particular shloka is the last two words. What are the last two words? No. Sorry, Sanskrit. The Sanskrit last two words. Tat shrunu. Tat shrunu. What does that mean? There's this word tat. Yes. That try to hear. The Prabhupada says, now hear. You see the first beginning, Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear. So Prabhupada is mentioning, how do we really begin self-realization or know about God or know about reality of this world? It all begins with Tat Shrunu. Now hear. In whichever situation you are in, you are a brahmachari, you are a grihastha, you are a vanaprastha, you are a sannyasi, you are a businessman, whoever you may be, you are a man, you are a woman, you are from India, you are from America, Australia, European, whatever you may be. Take that situation what you are in and now hear. Hearing is the beginning of self-realization. It all begins with hearing. Hearing is the beginning of any knowledge. In this world, if you want to know anything, you will have teachers speak on that particular subject. You hear, and that is how you learn. Small children, I always say, learn language just by hearing from their parents. You see, children learning language, linguistic, without even a teacher, just by hearing. They learn perfect grammar, perfect sentence formation, only by hearing. So please understand, hearing is a very, very powerful tool, powerful technique. And Krishna is saying, you can actually know about me by hearing. Tashrunu. But then, when you say about hearing, you always have to ascertain that the source from which you are hearing is proper. Because if you hear something improper, then improper embedding will take place. And wrong knowledge will get into the system. Just like they say, there are people who make activists. Activists means those who are troubling they seem to have some purpose, and to ensure their purpose, they're troubling other humans. So how does it all begin? Just like Germans and Jews. Hitler, it is said, had constructed big stadiums with very good acoustics, and he had all his German citizens be there, and he spoke. He spoke with so much of convictions and force of how the solution to all their problems is if they can wipe off the Jews. They are the Aryans. He literally kind of instigated the whole Holocaust that we see in the history as a dark part of history only by speaking to them. And what emotions and what consciousness they did not have, by speaking, it actually became a reality in their hearts. That to the extent these civilians and even the people of this German race, they were going and brutally wiping off the whole Jewish society. It all happened by hearing. Similarly, activists, right from childhood, they are ingrained animosity towards other races. He said, you are in this pitiable situation because of others dealing with you. So you ingrain a certain amount of animosity by what you're speaking to them. So when you hear, you actually take on a particular consciousness, a particular faith, a particular realization from the other person. If you attentively hear someone, you're just not hearing the message, you're actually taking the convictions, you're taking their association. So, hearing is the beginning of self realization, but whom do you hear from? You have to ascertain that the source from which you're taking in is proper. Prabhupada said this is very important. We should be hearing from Parampara, from the Sampradayas, from the spiritual universities, Brahma, Rudra, Kumara, or Shri. Sampradayas, bona fide knowledge. Imagine someone has not studied, right? Somebody has not studied from a medical school, and he has only watched all the YouTube, and they kind of put this thing that, now I'm graduated, so I have my MD practice. Would people go to him? No. That means the learning should be from a bona fide source. So hearing is very powerful. Please understand. If you give audience to learning something and you consistently do it, it can actually change your thinking patterns. Sound actually is the beginning of creation. Do you know that? Sound is a beginning of creation. From sound comes air. From air comes fire. From fire comes water. From water comes earth. Make sense? I'll explain you how. Sound. What is the sensation of sound? Hearing. From sound comes air. So air has the qualities of sound and another quality. What is that? Air has two qualities. Air has two qualities. Like if the wind is blowing, can you hear? You can hear also, and you can feel. So you see, air has two qualities. The quality of sound and add-on. Now from air comes fire. Now fire has three qualities. It has sound, you can hear, you can feel, and third thing, heat is feeling. What is that? How do you can see. It has the third quality of seeing. And from fire comes water. Now water, does it have sound? Can you hear? Can you feel water? Can you see water? And what is the extra thing it has? Now, what is the extra thing that water has? Taste. And from water comes earth. And how many qualities earth has? 5. Does it have sound? Yes. You drop something. The movement. Does it have sense of touch? Does it have, you can see it? Can you taste it? Yes. What is the additional thing that's there in earth? No, feeling is already done. What is the additional thing? No. What else is a perception you can have of earth? From your senses. Smell. Fragrance. That's how you can see. From sound, air comes. From air, fire comes. From fire, water comes. From water, earth comes. So sound is the beginning which actually brings matter, solid. No, sound, Om is we'll talk about Om, it will come, right? Obviously the sound itself comes from other aspects of ego, intelligence, false ego, and mind. So we'll not go into that subject right now. But just to make your point that hearing sound actually makes the creation. That means you can actually make a creation by sound. Hearing is so powerful. The point that I'm trying to make, what Prabhupada wants to emphasize, is Tashrunu, it can make up the whole material reality of what you want to live for by how you hear and what you take in. Like I gave you the examples of activists or Hitler and the science of how from sound the other elements get created and ultimately earth. Which means sound is the basis of the whole creation. So Krishna is saying, my dear Arjun, Tashrunu, if you hear about the spiritual reality from a proper source, it can revive your spiritual consciousness and the whole reality of which you are originally a part. Like, people say, how can I get into God realization? It all begins with hearing. When you're chanting, what are you doing? Hearing. When you're hearing, when I'm speaking, what are you doing? You hear. So hearing is the most important thing, which means every day we should spend time hearing. The more you hear, the more you will get near Krishna. The more you hear, the more you will get near Krishna. Right? So hearing is so important. Hearing is actually the means of self-realization. We may not have any qualification. Prabhupada's disciples, Americans, when they came to India, Prabhupada would lecture in Hindi and Bengali. Hindi in Vrindavan, Bengali in Mayapur. And his Western disciples are sitting. And they would not understand a word. But still, Prabhupada would recommend them to sit, because this is a holy transcendental vibration of the spiritual knowledge. Even if you cannot understand, but if you give audience and hear, it has effect. This is the power of this knowledge. Right? Even if you don't understand, you will start understanding. Right? Yes, what I'm going to speak now. By that, what will happen? Maya sakta manaha partha. What will happen? Mai asakta. Your mind will become attached to me. The more you hear about me, the more you will develop attachment for me. Asakti, you understand, right? किसी के प्रति आसक्ति हो जाती है. मन आसक्त हो जाता. See, mind by nature gets attached. So if you hear, then you'll get attached to Krishna. Maya asakta manah partah yogam yunjan madashrayah asamshayam samagram mam yatha gyasyasi tashrunu. And he says, you can know me in full, free from doubt by hearing. You can know Krishna in full, free from all doubts. So see what all hearing will bring you. If you hear, you will know Krishna, your mind will become attached to Krishna, you will know him in full, and all your doubts will also get cleared. That is the power of spiritual sound. It will enter through your ears into your heart, and it will dismantle all the subtleties of what we have acquired over a period of time and establish the reality. But as I said, hearing has to be performed very attentively, with respect and daily, and from the right source. Because today in India, because it's a religious world, religious country, you have so many people saying so many things. Prabhupada said, hearing from professional reciters or other non-bona fide sources of Mayavad and others, it is like milk touched by a serpent. See, unless your heart is connected to your hearing, it won't kind of fully register. Like you're on the road, so many sounds are going on. Do you really ascertain? Unless you focus on one sound, you don't really get it. So if you hear with that attention to take it up, actually, very interesting, by hearing you actually get the other person's desires in your heart. If say Shivain has certain liking for some aspect, if he speaks about it and he has a heart for it, just by hearing from him on a regular level, you will also develop attachment for that. That's the power of association through hearing. See, this is the same principle Maya can also use for embedding the material things. And the same principle used for spiritual aspect can be a liberating and delivering things. But then the point that you made, I really appreciated, because one of the reasons why we would become not so enthusiastic by our spiritual practice is because we are dampening it by so many other inputs. Right? We are dampening it by so many other inputs. That is why we are not so resolute sometimes in our practice. If you want to be resolute, you should be very conscious. It's something like, you want to be an Olympic champion. You decide, I want to get a gold medal. You really have to associate with only things that will kind of motivate you for your success. If you're going to be like getting everywhere, doing everything, maybe we will not even qualify. Yes? If you do make a determination, any of us. Now, I'm giving you an example of Olympics. You can have the similar example in your own work. What is Olympics in your work? So what kind of absorption and attention and association you will need to succeed? Tell me. And only such people succeed. People who are everywhere, people who are appeasing everyone, I'm sorry, I don't know whether they succeed, because now if your success is defined in a different way and you're focusing on, then it's a different thing. But those who are very, very clear in their focus and only associate with things and hear about things which will encourage them and motivate them, make them focused on what they want to achieve, then they achieve it. Or anything they do, it's actually tending to that. Make sense? So the lesson that we should take from this particular verse is all of us should spend religiously time every day hearing. Because the more you hear, you get near Krishna. Every day we should religiously have half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. Have some plan. Depending on how much taste you have developed, you can do it more. But at least have, I would say, if you chant one round, it takes you 10 to 15 minutes. And if you read one verse of Gita, it will take you about 10 minutes. Right? But I will tell you, after you read, you should contemplate. Right? After you read, you should contemplate. Otherwise, your hearing does not become your understanding. If you want your hearing to become your understanding, you have to contemplate, how does this apply in my life? How does this apply in the society? And what can I practically do to apply? This kind of smaranam will actually make your knowledge into understanding. Is there a difference between knowledge and understanding? Right? It's like you know, but then you understand. That means you actually can start using it. right? It's like cow. You've seen cows. In Goshala we see cows. What do cows do? How do cows eat? What do? They eat, and after that what do? So they, whatever they have eaten, they bring it back to their mouth. You know that, right? And what do they do? What is that chewing called? In Hindi or in English or yeah, it's called jugali, rumination. Ruminate. They eat what they have eaten again. First they eat to kind of fill up. After that they bring it out from their stomach and they chew it. And you will see in the sun they're sitting basking in the sun. Like you ever go to a goshala, you see they're like they're sitting in the sun relaxed and they're like chewing. That chewing makes milk. That chewing makes milk. So similarly, you hear, but when you chew it again in your mind, that is called smaranam, then it will become milk. Right? It will become your understanding. And Prabhupada gives this example. And after you have understood, if you apply it in your life, it will become realization. So, what are the three aspects of hearing? First, knowledge. Second, understanding. And third, realization. So, what you hear, if you contemplate, ये मेरे जीवन में कैसे लागू करता है, ये समाज में कैसे लागू करता है, और कैसे मैं अपने जीवन में इसको अप्लाई कर सकता हूँ, कर सकती हूँ. Right? And actually when you get into application, that is called, the third stage is called nididhyasanam. Shravanam, smaranam, nididhyasanam. Applying that aspect means you actually get that conviction in your heart and it becomes a part of you. That is called realization. So we have to let our hearing take this journey from knowledge to understanding to realization. And when you have a realization, what will you do? It's like, imagine I say, Prabhu, can I get some hot water? Can I get some hot water? No, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm explaining. What did you do? You heard. Then immediately what did you do? You started working. Hearing should make you activated. You say you hear, but nothing changes in your life. What is that hearing? That means you haven't really taken it. Realization means you hear, you immediately move. You hear, like, imagine you tell your assistant, थोड़ा पानी लेके आ. साहब सुन रहा हूँ अच्छी तरह. Attentively सुन रहा हूँ. फिर से बोलिए, पानी लेके आ. सुन लिया. अरे जा. He says, मैं तो सुन लिया. Hearing कर लिया. What is the use of your hearing if it does not apply? Similarly, you hear spiritual knowledge, but there's no transformation in your life. You don't apply the knowledge, then we stay where we are. Will our thirst get quenched? If the person who is supposed to bring water only keeps hearing? बोला आज मैं 108 बार सुना मेरे मालिक ने कहा पानी लेके आ. बोला तुम्हारा मालिक बहुत बड़ा है, इतना पेशेंस है, 108 बार. Hearing means doing. If hearing doesn't mean doing, your hearing is useless. It's useless. In one level, right? You give instructions to your company people. You give instructions to your farm. You give instructions. ये करो वो करो. साहब सुन लिया. But किया क्या? So, this verse, what we're talking, is very, very important, what Prabhupada is saying. If we learn the process and the science of hearing, you've actually learned the art. You've learned the art of Krishna consciousness. Because hearing is the beginning. Hearing is kind of going to take you across in your journey to perfection. Because what do we see here? You will know me in full, you will become attached to me, free from doubt. That means all realization will come by hearing. But as I said, hearing should be done from a bona fide source, and hearing should take this phenomenon of these phases. Shravanam, what is first thing is? Say it, Shravanam, which is hearing. So you get knowledge. The next stage is Smaranam, Smaran. You engage your mind. And then what will you get? Understanding. And then apply it in your life. Nididhyasanam. That is called Smaranam. And then Nididhyasanam, which is realization or strong convictions. That's when you can say, I have faith in it. Right? And unless you apply your subject, you don't really get realization. Imagine, the employee, you train them in some work. When they apply it on the task, actually then they become a seasoned person. Then you can say, iske upar hum depend kar sakte hain. So the knowledge has to go through these phases, right? So Prabhupada, as I mentioned, spoke about it. And so Prabhupada, when he went to America, if you see, Prabhupada was speaking to Americans who have an American accent of language. And Prabhupada speaking in his Bengali, if a Bengali speaks English to an American, will they understand? No. But all of them, they heard Prabhupada because the source is bona fide. And just by hearing that language of Prabhupada, even though they didn't understand immediately, but they got transformed. They gave up all their bad habits. They started chanting. They dedicated their lives. See, actually what happens, the hearing is the process, but you have to help develop a relationship with the person so that he starts to hear from you. Like Prabhupada, the disciples said, there are two things which actually influenced them. Prabhupada had concern for us and music. If somebody genuinely has concern for your well-being, you actually become connected with them. These hippies, nobody was concerned for them. Even the government had kind of rejected them because of them being like upstarts. And Prabhupada was kind to them and concerned for them. So one of the thing in relationships is when you actually have genuine concern for the other person, you touch their hearts. If you don't have a genuine concern for the other person, you really don't, the chords don't really tune in. So Prabhupada, yes, Prabhupada. Yeah, because Prabhupada actually loved everyone. If someone loves you, you can feel it, even if you don't understand the language. That this person, he's not after getting something from me, he actually wants to help me. Right? Now, obviously, now we can't, but then yes, our sincerity is always experienced by the other person. Obviously. Yeah, maybe that's a good thing you're telling. Now that I'm telling you, absorb yourself in hearing, maybe we should get into a rhythm of hearing Prabhupada's lectures. Even 15 minutes. Prabhupada's lectures, one amazing thing is, we are speaking long. Prabhupada will speak only for 25 minutes. 25 to 30 minutes only, a lecture. But how much Prabhupada spoke in 25 minutes, I can't speak even in 2 hours. It is like concentrated nectar. Like, I take one concept and I explain it, but Prabhupada is giving us like the realizations and aspects so deeply with examples. But really, if you start hearing Prabhupada, you will kind of get into rush. Maybe he can share a lecture and everyone hear that every day. I think this is a good, like I said, get hot water. So I saying, if you're saying Tachrunu, so I think if we start hearing from Prabhupada, there's a culture now. I think, and I can tell you, you'll really become extremely uh, spiritually surcharged. If every day we spend time hearing. As I said, hearing actually makes the creation. Right? So this, I spent a little more time because Prabhupada has spent so many lectures explaining. Maybe we will send you a lecture of Prabhupada on this verse. Right? On this Tachrunu. Right? So following it, Krishna says that now I'm going to speak to you the knowledge about the whole existence. I'm going to tell you everything, the whole Gyan and Vigyan, the knowledge and the science, the applicative knowledge, everything I'm going to speak to you. That means you can study the phenomenons and you can study the embedded sciences which actually make up the phenomenon. Right? I'm going to tell you everything Krishna is telling. And then Krishna is qualifying the words, very important words. Manushyanam sahasresu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. And this verse is like congratulating each and every one of you who is sitting here. Krishna is really congratulating. What's he saying? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. He says, of thousands of men, one person is thinking, I think life has more to it than what I'm living. Make sense? Of thousands of people you take as a statistics, one person may be a inquisitive person or curious person to understand what is this world? Why things happen like this? Who am I? What's life? Okay, what's death? Everybody talks about it. Nobody talks about it, but everybody has to go through it. Right? So of thousands of men means men and women, of thousands of men, one person inquires, I think life has more to it than what I'm living. Otherwise, 999 or 2999 is only about the momentum of their lives that's going on. Right? It's like, Chaitanya, one senior devotee said, everybody is in a rat race. Yes? Everybody is in a rat race. But the question is, who started the rat race? And who obliged you to be part of the rat race? Did anyone said on your mark, get set, go? Like I heard an anecdote and I think I shared with all of you, but I will do it again because it's contextual. There was a trainer in a company, a trainer. Sometimes you call trainers to train your people. So there were about 30-40 people in the training class and the trainer was training. And then what he did is, okay, let's have some amusement. So he got everyone a balloon. Right? And then he told everyone, blow your balloon. So everyone blew their balloons and it became like big. He said, tie it up. And then he gave markers. He said, write your name on the balloon. So everyone wrote their name. Aniruddha, Yash, everyone has written their names. Shivain, Jagrati, Bhavini, all wrote their names. And then he said, okay. Then he took those 40 balloons, went to the room next and put all the 40 balloons in the room. And then came back. And there were 40 people sitting. And then he said, the trainer, so now, in the least amount of time, we need to find your balloon. And he said, on your mark, get set, go. And literally everybody caught up the seat and like pushing ahead of the person. Adidev, you can offer. Pushing ahead of each other, everybody started hurrying to the room next. And then they went to find their balloon. And in course of finding their balloon, they blew some balloons. Right? And then they're pushing each other, trying to get each other to get the balloon. And here and there is so much of tamasha going on. And minutes passed by, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so much time passed by. And only few people could get their balloon. And maybe the others who didn't get balloon were thinking they should blow off the balloons of the ones who got it. And then everybody came back. And then said, so how was the experience? And then everyone shared their experience. He said, we'll do it again. And again he got them balloons. He said, blow your balloons. And he blew the balloons. He said, write your names. He said, write your names. And then he said, on your mark. And then this time he didn't put it in this room. He put it on the other room. I said, on your mark, get set and wait. They were about to go, he said, wait. He said, a little change in instructions. He said, what is the change in instructions? He said, yes. Yes. He said, what was spoken? We have to find our balloons in the least time. This was what's spoken. He says, now when you go inside, find others their balloon. Right? And then now nobody is pushing, right? They're just going in, and then immediately they say balloon. He says, Shivain, oh Shivain, your balloon. And then Shivain sees another balloon, Anirudh, oh, here's your balloon. And less than 2 minutes, everybody got the balloons. Make sense? Everybody got the balloons. Nobody pushed each other. Right? So the trainer had not said that we are going to go for a contest. But the world that we live in, we just begin the race. We just begin the race. They never said you have to get into the race. Just that others are into the race, you get into the race. And what is the experience of that race? How many are fulfilled? The first go, how many were fulfilled when you actually got into a race? Undefined, nobody told you. Is it that to find yours, you have to exploit others? You have to push others down? Right? But they did it. Right? And how many people felt fulfilled? Very few. And those who actually got it, others must be envying them. So this is the world that we have kind of made. Nobody put us in the rat race. We have allowed ourselves to be in the race without knowing whether it is the right one or not. I am not feeling fulfilled. The people I am with not feeling fulfilled. My relationships are not fulfilling. So what have I really got messed up with? Right? But then when you understand that what is the real essence? Oh, I can live the life with these principles. Like as I said, instead of working to, selfishly grab things, you work in a way to help others with service attitude. And if everybody, and how it works is very domino effect. If I show selfishness, I inspire selfishness from everyone's heart. Yes? I show selflessness, I inspire everyone to also become selfless. The world is a reflection of ourselves, just like in a mirror. In a mirror, if I take a step back, what happens to the reflection? You push yourself ahead when in front of the mirror. The other person is also pushing. You look with a scorn and with some hatred. Then what the other reflection behaves? You smile and be pleasant. What do you see the reflection? What do you see it? So the world is a reflection of how you deal with it. Right? So today's world, people, as I'm saying, Manushyanam Sahasreshu, thousands of people, but everybody is kind of got into the race of this world, not even knowing whether that is the right thing to do. And the only thing they know is because everybody is doing it, I'll be in FOMO if I don't do it. Make sense? But nobody is thinking, is that the right thing to do? Is that the right culture to do? So as devotees, we should actually put Krishna's system in our lives. We should not copy the system of the ignorant people who have motivation of selfishness. Why should we live out? Krishna is giving us a system by which you can be happy, and everyone who interacts with you will become your lover. This is Krishna's system. Spiritual knowledge is of that power. So it says, of thousands of people, one person realizes, I think I am in the wrong place. I think there's something more to reality than the way the whole world is moving in momentum. So that's called a person looking for some perfection. हजारों में एक व्यक्ति होता है जो ये समझ जाता है कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, कुछ तो जीवन में और होना चाहिए. ऐसे हजारों में एक व्यक्ति जागृत होता है, inquisitive. And out of thousands of such seekers, one person will come to Krishna. Make sense? Because when you're seeking, you can actually go to so many people. Make sense? Coming to Krishna, it's not necessarily the seeker's destination. So Krishna himself is saying statistically, of thousands of people, one person will look for some perfection, and out of thousands of people who are looking for perfection, one person will come to me. Me means Krishna, and hear from me. So all of you who are sitting here, you are one in a million, or maybe one in millions. Make sense? Because you're sitting and hearing about what? And what is Krishna saying in this verse? Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Of thousands of people, only one will know me in truth. So at least we go to Krishna and then know from him. How would we know about the truth unless we hear from the right source? So all of us who are sitting here, Krishna is congratulating. And if you know that we are the fortunate ones in this world, we are the fortunate chosen ones in Calcutta. How many chosen ones are in Calcutta? Pick up how many people are looking to know from Krishna. How many? Yes, Shivain? In whole Calcutta, how many people from maybe the age group of yours and the business community? How many people? Huh? So less. Maybe we can count on our fingers how many are there in our programs. But this is the fortunate, like this fortunate 500. This is like not even fortunate 50, maybe fortunate 20. And you are all part of that club. Please understand your good fortune. Don't take your lives to mean what the world makes you feel so. You have to feel about reality from what Krishna says. Don't get the supposition of what you are or how you should be from the world. They themselves don't know what is right. The world is, so to say, doing a lot of development, but is it becoming more self satisfied? Is it becoming more content? Is it becoming a more harmonious place? Is it fostering more love, cooperation, and happiness? Right? That means there needs to be more. There needs to be more. And that solution we have. We have the solution. We have because we are hearing from Krishna. So all of you are actually uh, capable of, you know, creating a revolution in this world. Each of you. If you really take it up seriously, you can create revolution. The Bhagavatam says, Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokama baddhavati api. He says these words of spiritual knowledge from the Shastras, they can call visarga. Visarga means revolution in the heart, in this world of ignorance. Imagine there is like tens and thousands of gallons of petrol, right? Tens and thousands of gallons of petrol, and you just send a chingari, a spark. What will happen? What will happen if you send a spark? It'll like blast the whole thing. So, in the ignorance of this world, like 10,000 gallons of petrol, the spark of Krishna consciousness can create a revolution. That is the power, right? So, first you have to allow that revolution in your lives by hearing, by contemplating, and by applying. And then you will have faith and convictions. It has changed my life. I think I can help others also. You'll actually make them from hopeless to hopeful, right? You can actually save their lives. You can save people's lives. People are not dying out of no money. People are not dying of no food. People are not dying out of no clothes. People are dying out of, just like I heard, a third year IIT Kharagpur electronics engineer committed suicide. And like that, so many people. The wealthy are doing it, the middle people are doing, everyone is doing. Forget about living, they decide not to live. And that's only people with that, and there are many others. The world needs our help. So we need to awaken and kind of understand how fortunate each of us are because we have understood the problem. Right? We have understood the problem. So we are woken up, so we can wake everyone up. So our service is Jago, Jiva Jago. Right? And Krishna is beginning to wake Arjuna up and to all of us. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Thai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.